sort of scheduled this on a whim because we were doing a little bit of flower sticks earlier in the week. There wasn't a flower stick workshop. I know a couple of tricks about when you're trying to get the flower stick people sort of in a room doing some flower stick stuff. I'm not a performer by any such imagination. I'm a musical teacher. But I guess that's every day. So I'm guessing, so you guys are probably newer? You're new to the?
Yeah, I've never done it a little bit.
Okay.
Nobody showed me how to do it.
Cool. So I'll run through sort of the basic, and then one or two initial patterns, and then we can do a mix of easy tricks, medium tricks, harder tricks, whatever you want to show off some things. And you can go, hey, let's learn that one, or I can sort of some things. So the first absolute basic pattern is called tick-tock, which is when you hit the stick back and forth on the top half. If I'm teaching this to someone for the first time and I'm not convinced they're going to be super strong with it or confident, I'll start with them on the ground and they can shift the top part back and forth. And then what I would typically do if I was teaching someone is I would just hold the bottom part. So like if you're doing that, right? If I'm teaching like a kid or something, I'm just going to hold this end like this. Right? And that helps them sort of minimizes one variable. And then you can sort of if it starts to like work its way forward or backwards, you can sort of correct it. They don't know any better. But that's sort of the initial for teaching somebody. But once you have the tick-tock down, everything from here is our variation. So you always have one hand stick free. And you can sort of make that as dramatic as you want. You can do any of your club flourishes. We'll get to those eventually. But then, I don't know the name of it, but another version of the tick-tock is when you use that free stick to pause on the other side. And that allows you to do stalls like this. Or it allows you to sort of add extra spin when you're going into flips in the air. So the first sort of trick from the tick-tock would be to lift your throwing hand a little bit higher, let it have some air time, and then do a half turn. So tick-tock, tick-tock, flip, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick, flip. So it folds it up and over, and it just says, the bottom becomes the top. Now like any small child would ask, how do you throw? Well, that's going to be how you add extra full flips or 1.5 flips or just throwing it up into the air, hoping it comes down right. So that's sort of basic trick number one. From the sort of two-stick position, that's where you can really add a ton of extra spin without adding a ton of extra height and do much more flipping. And like every pattern, working the left hand and the right hand. So I tend to flip, I guess, counterclockwise from my perspective, whereas you can also flip the other way. And that's worth practicing because that allows you to add symmetry to your patterns. So that's sort of the beginner sequences that I would work. That's how just about to mention that. So for anybody who does club work, you can still do your kick-ups depending on your shoe, depending on your particular stick. There's different balance points. I mean, if you want to do the sideways version, you can. If you want to do the lazy version, you can just put it just flat on the shoe and kick it straight up. You can get any number of kick-up tricks translate quite nicely to this. And because they typically don't bounce nearly as much, I guess there's more mass to it on a club, you can do those like foot catch tricks a little more easily than you would with a club. So that's, again, left foot and right foot are playing. So that's some leg work, some hand work. One of my recent inspirations, I've been watching a lot of drummers. I've been watching like drum solos and drumstick stuff. And so, from the tick-tock, one of the things I've been trying is this is your standard position where the sticks are parallel and your hands are sort of thumb in line, pointing ahead of you. But if you open your palm out, you can have like an open-handed sort of position. The hand sticks taper in a little bit, so I have something here. Oh. Right? And so then you have that, and you can go out, in, and then just sort of cycling back and forth. And then from there, so you have your standard position, standard grip, forehand grip, and then a backhand grip, which is basically the forehand grip, and upside down. So you can cycle between open, normal, back in the same way. So one of my favorite warm-ups is to do TikTok, and then you go open, open, normal, normal, back, back, normal, normal, open, back. I think that's a trick more for yourself than it is for an audience. It's not particularly visible, but it is. And I guess it's worth noting, depending on who you learn from or what you like to do, where you hold the sticks is relevant. Some people like to hold them right at the far end, so this long stick in front of them. My tendency is to hold in the center. I like to do some of that hand stick stuff. And if you want to work on your technique, you can sort of choke yourself up so that you have almost no hand stick to work with, and you're basically just going with a half inch of hand stick. So those are sort of limitations you can put on yourself and what's your technique today. So that's good. Now,
Oh, sure. I was kind of trying to remember all this stuff so we go back.
yeah, so I signed up for the, I tried to sign up for this earlier in the week, and I was like, I didn't prepare anything. I brought a pen and slips of paper from the hotel room. And I'm like, I'll just, that's Lally's camera.
Oh yeah, I'll end up putting that on YouTube, so unless the sound is horrible, everything he says will be on there.
Perfect, yeah, we'll upload that. And then I can also, if people want to put my emails and stuff down there, I can I can write my email down and then you guys can shoot me stuff. Well, there are a lot of channels and videos and websites that have some of the basic tricks. I don't pay attention to them and kind of play with this stuff on my own. I can't claim to invent tricks that I do because somebody else probably did them, but I at least found this a lot of stuff independently. So I don't know necessarily the names of all of these things. I'm sure they have names, but I don't know. Or they're named after them, whatever I can. So you were doing something fun, which only works with certain sticks. Yours might not work, yours might not work. Yours roll? Does that one roll or does
This one.
that one rolls? That one should roll. So yeah, so if you put both hand sticks below and you tilt, some of them might roll, some of them might not. yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
try that one.
What?
Okay.
So
Once you get it going.
Yeah.
yeah, so everyone else makes these ones.
Oh, I don't use this stuff.
So yeah, and what's really crazy about flower sticks is, and I was talking about this earlier, is that flower sticks and devil sticks, the tricks and technique are totally different. But even within the flower stick realm, this one can do some tricks that these other ones can't, and those ones can do things that this one can't, just because of how they're all designed. So it's really good marketing, right? You have to buy like 5 or 6 different ones or whatever. Really, you need one that can roll and something like that. So from the roll, yeah, you can do just sort of a roll, catch, keep it rolling. That's kind of fun. Keeping it level is a challenge, or correcting keeping it level is a challenge. You can sort of flip, catch it, roll it, and then you have this nice little flared out stuff. Yeah, all right.
And I had one that
Doesn't roll. Right. Well, it has to do with the tassel, like floppiness.
Yeah, no,
these
I was thinking it was the surface of the.
I think it's it's the moments of inertia or whatever physics term. I'm a kind of stuff. Physics words. Yeah, but these leather like flaps that are wider seem to generally spin better. than the smaller sort of floppy ones. So from the roll, you can start to get sort of adventurous. One of the more challenging ones is as you roll down the sticks, roll it down the leg into that foot position, and then you can pick it up. So that's sort of a fun little movement. That's the intermediate trick. You know what I'm trying. Try to get the, as it's rolling, before it gets off the sticks, place it on like your thigh, or honestly, I've got something in my pocket, so I'm placing it sort of right above my knee, and it will roll down the leg eventually, and then end up on some version of a foot position. There you go. And then the really crazy one that I can't do consistently, but this is one I saw. This one I did see someone do this one. This one really caught my eye. So you start with that roll, pick it up, and catch it here, and you guys can sort of laugh at yourself when you roll it down the entirety of your body. So catch it, arms, chest, body, leg, foot, and drop usually. But that's so yeah. So when it comes up, right, bring your right. So you want to bring your arms basically up, and then so then it should come down here, and then it comes up. Keep your elbows in, right? Keep your elbows in, and then they'll roll there, and then there, and then whichever leg it's close to is going to be the one you pick, and then it rolls to that leg. That was stupidly hard, but super fun. Yep. Yeah.
Is there a pointer to get it from this side to this side smoothly?
It is sort of like a, you can make it kind of like a contact trick where there's like the contact where you just barely letting go of it. You come up and just barely get under it.
Or you can fake not fit, where you tend to cross something and you just pretend. So like.
Oh yes, you could. Oh, that's a perfect move.
It's just it rather than like.
Oh yeah, that's
you
actually
just do like
that's
the
even-
low down throw.
That's super fun too. That's a whole sequence right there, right? Kind of catch, flip, spin, roll. I can feel that.
So how do you get it over your hands when you get it up there? It seems like it's going to stop.
So you start it rolling. So start rolling like this, right? And then as it's rolling this way, you launch up into there. So it's continue to roll this way, right?
Oh.
And then you
It's
just
always on the knee.
do your best to get under it.
And then just let it roll over my hand. My fingers get it.
Yeah. I mean, or you can. I mean, if you move just your pointer and thumb, then it's fewer fingers. So it's sort of.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
And if you have your hands choked up towards the middle, then when you catch it, you just catch it. You just catch it under your hand.
Or just slide your hands up.
Yeah. So there's any number of variations you can try. That's definitely on the advanced side of tricks.
Yeah, but it's fun to practice.
It's super fun to practice. It's it's one of my favorite ones to fail at.
So I want to see the video taken out just to remember things.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get it uploaded.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe we'll put your YouTube channel on
yeah.
this, and then you guys can take pictures of it or whatever, or we can just tear it up and we'll slip the paper in.
You got a phone.
That way,
And then Tuesday or Wednesday next week, just because it's with the 360 camera and the video is really big files, so I don't want to use the data on my phone to upload it.
Yeah.
So the next thing that I guess we can go back to sort of middle of the road difficulty stuff. And from that standard TikTok, one of the again good warm up but also good tricks is to with that free hand just do a half flip. Half. So, yeah. I would suggest, and now, so if you, the easier way to do it is after you sort of launch it over, once you've let go, once this thing is no longer in contact, then do the flip. But you can sort of stitch the two together, so when I hit, I also release. Significantly harder, but then just like release, flip, release, flip. Yep, that was it. You know, it's,
You just throw it high enough, then.
it's true, yes, yeah. If you give it some time. Now, if you want to try another fun one, so from this double stick action, well, yeah, you can flip them both in one movement. Yes, there it is. That's a good one. That one's tough. Another good one, as we're playing with the releasing of hand sticks, from this you can let go, leave the two sticks kind of very flat, and switch hands. So this one usually requires a little bit of knees to sort of survive, but sort of. So if you just let go, they sort of stay in that. They all stay pretty much in one spot, and you just bring your hands across and untwist. It is a cigar. It's very much a cigar boxing move, yeah. I guess that's a good point. You just let go and recall, right? Yeah, that's a good drill. So, Emily, right? Emily was doing she was just letting go and recatching the same one, just practicing the release and catch thing before adding a switch. Probably a way to maintain your sanity. Another thing I guess is important to mention is the amount of force that you apply is really important. I'm super light with my contact. Once you get it moving a little bit, I tend to do long, slow impulse rather than a fast, quick one or a fast, short one. So I'm applying the same amount of force over a long push as I would over a short push. That longer push gives me the time to make any corrections, like mid-movement, that I might need. That doesn't translate to devil sticks, and it may not translate to your particular flower stick or your particular style, but my style is a more slow, kind of flowy style. So, for you, I would say choke up on to the middle of the stick. That in the same way that getting a club, if you're gonna throw a flat with a club, you're gonna throw it from the middle more or less. That's better than sort of easier to keep them from flipping, I think. Alright, so I saw two more tricks that I want to add into. So you get the basis of the propeller, another intermediate to advanced trick. This is starting to add in your one stick trick. So the way to start that is to from your two you call it a trap. That's a trap. So from this trap with a two-stick tick-tock kind of movement, practice getting it to flip around the stick once, around, back into it, around, back into it, around. And it's going under the stick to the outside. So I'm pushing. I'm going to do it on my left stick. I'm going to push the right stick under and through to get it up and around. And then you just repeat that movement of the whichever stick you're using, left or right stick. It's pushing, in my case, up and on the outside of the flower stick to maintain spin. Some people spin the other way, which would require you to push up from the inside. That's a totally personal preference as far as I'm concerned, which way you want to spin. It does work on both hands, eventually. But I'm still terrible at it. one of the reasons why some of the flower sticks like this one and that one have like their midpoint marked is for you to be able to spot some of these things. So if I'm doing this trick the way I do it, which is up on the outside, I'm aiming for right about there every single time to keep that.
But I'm noticing even with this tic-tac, I'm not hitting it at the same place as this thing.
Yes, there is, and you really won't. I mean, there is, theoretically, there's perfect mechanics where, but.
Well, the variation is where you're putting it on.
Yes, and that's and yes, that definitely comes with lots of time and practice. And yeah, you start to make corrections so that if mine starts to go that way, I can bring it back, just spin, deaden it.
Right.
And that's, I wish I could say there's a conscious thing I'm thinking about to make those corrections, but it just comes with play.
Yeah.
It just comes with play.
But everything comes down to practice.
Absolutely. And what I do like about flower stick, more so than traditional juggling, is when you mess up, you can still recover, and as long as it hits the floor, it looks like a trick. Like, you throw it super high, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I meant to do that almost. Yeah, it's sort of sideways now. And it's less obvious that you totally butchered something. So, those are all of these tricks. Let's do, because we can do one more from the kind of vertical spinning row. The one's called the buzz saw. There's two ways to do this one. I think the easiest way, if we just start in it, is this one is where you have it going like this. Now, the easiest way to start is to just set it up in front of you, kind of pointing vertical, one on either side of the stick, basically at midpoint, and then it will either travel kind of up and away from you, or back and towards you. One's buzzsaw, one's reverse buzzsaw. I don't know which one's which. Just so that's a fun one. It's hard to get into and out of sometimes. The way that I get into and out of it, if you're thinking about it from a stage perspective, well, this is our audience, and I'm performing a trick like this. Well, they're not going to really appreciate buzzsaw if all they're seeing is the front, that part. So one of the easiest ways to get into and out of buzzsaw for an audience is to go keep it in that same plane of motion. Because now they're seeing the buzzsaw in motion, and then you just flip and rotate yourself 90 degrees more so. And then you could buzzsaw here to there. You could work your way around a buzzsaw. Right. For the audience could see that too. They would see it. It's almost like an isolation. It's like a contact trick, isolation trick where the buzzsaw stays in one spot and you move around it. Similarly, you can do things like you can move the buzzsaw low. You can move it up. You can move yourself if you're more flexible and acrobatic than I am to make it add some drama to it. You can. Yeah, and I've seen this one. I've seen people do sort of the comedy version where it runs away from them, and then it chases them back, and then it runs away. It chases it chases them back. So you can add theatrics to their life to any of these sorts of movements.
And are you doing continuous contact, or slightly okay? So
I am
slightly letting go on it. Right?
Yeah, there's a moment where it lets go. It's basically falling. Rotating over and falling off.
If you're doing it, chases it down the stick,
right? It's sort of just, so it's falling, and I'm always landing on the outside bottom. So it falls, outside bottom falls, outside bottom falls, over and over again. Yeah, that's it. There's definitely some hitting of the face. This particular stick that I have, by comparison, is much shorter. And that's where different models will also play different roles at different lengths to make life easier or harder. So, and again, if you want to add more difficulty to this, your hands are in a standard grip position. Theoretically, you could go into an open grip position. Or I don't know, I'm not sure. I guess that's closed grip. That doesn't look very good, but I guess scissor. Yeah, there are different patterns you can your grips you can incorporate to pretty much any of these. So that's another vertical spinning trick. Where I tend to have the most fun is in the horizontal spinning tricks. So instead of doing a normal tick-tock, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to do a little push-pull with the 2 sticks. So push-pull, and 1, 2, or you can just go tick-tock, 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 and get this thing moving more in a horizontal sort of plane. Yeah, that's it. And this one you always stay, yeah, you're always on that top half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. And then there's a whole host of new tricks you can add. The most basic one is helicopter, where you just try to maintain it on 1 stick. Well, eventually the spin sort of dies out, so you have to pick when your exit is to make it still look good. And when I was trying to figure out a way to add spin to it while it was in a helicopter, I don't think we really got anywhere with that. Adding spin to it while it was helicoptering. Yeah. From this, then you can start to do my personal favorite, which is basically the spinning globe trick where they go up, around, under themselves. Right. You can replicate that in the same way, because if you think about your finger always pointing up and around, well, you can keep the top of this, right, always being up on top as well. It's an extension of your finger, basically. So if you get this thing horizontal, you can keep it in that movement as well. The best way to start, I guess, would be maybe jamming it in one spot and practicing going up, over, around, and keeping it on top of the stick. It's a really unnatural movement. So it's going to go up here. So my palm is facing this guy.
Okay.
Palm goes to the outside of my let's start this. Like palm up, like you're raising your hand, just ask a question. Palm out, facing outside. Palm facing back towards you. Bring your finger pointing back away from you. And then rotate your hand back to palm up. So let's see. So
I think I need to go this way.
yes, that way. So palm. So yes, you're going up like this, right? And this is the top of the stick. So then palm out, palm back in, and then just one back.
There's a place where you have to.
So yeah, you do turn up. So you go from here, you come up, and then that's where your wrist breaks, right around there, and then you can curl it back in. So up, out, sort of back behind you, break the wrist, come back through. Break the wrist there.
I feel like there's 2 circles on that.
Yes, there are. So for me it's 1, 2, 1, 2,
Right.
1,
2 rotations.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then that's so hands like this. I guess yeah, we can mirror, yeah. So you guys finally have to face the wrath of
You're
learning.
left-handed?
I am left-handed. So you guys can face the wrath of learning from someone.
Well, actually, if we just face you,
you can face everything you do is a mirror of me, I suppose. My background is in sleight of hand magic, so every trick that I ever learned out of a book, I reverse it. Everything I had to read backwards. And I seriously contemplated like taking all the old classics and translating them for lefties, and then selling it. And that would be like $7-year-old $1 million scheme.
There's so many left-handed. There's so many magicians.
Yeah, from the market.
You're left-handed.
So so from here, you come up, twist your palm back towards you. Face your palm outside of you. bring that stick pointed way out away. Point it behind you. 90 degrees back over across your body. And it should be in the exact same position as it was before. All right, so here, so I'm up my finger here, right?
Yep.
So up. Yep.
And then I'm pointing, so now
No, I think you want to turn it sooner. So you're going to turn
Yeah,
it
so
here.
So up, rotate, flip it around, yeah, palm up. There you go.
oh, so I should
Yep.
point back with
Now-
yeah.
Keep turning.
Keep turning, break your wrist around.
Now bring it down.
Keep that up still. See that? That's
Oh,
it.
that was a very weird motion.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's two spins. So you're kind of going up. You're turning once, and then you're turning
Yeah,
back.
I'm cheating, I'm holding it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can go backwards, right? I mean, that's, I think I learned the one backwards.
Yes, so yeah, you can do this up or down. I learned the down version.
Very
That's
awkward.
the up version. Yep, so
Well, I think you want to
Yeah,
turn
and you're
farther
around.
up here. And then, yeah, so you're going to keep
Going.
going. No, before you actually
Going
bring it
around, keeping that sort of pointing up a little bit. Yeah, that's exactly the move. That's
Yeah.
motion.
Oh, yeah, that felt much more fluid, so that's.
Yeah, so you turn it farther up here.
Oh, so it's
That's it.
almost.
Yeah, you're almost done before
Yeah.
you bring it down below. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. I played a lot of frisbee, which is why we do the same thing.
Yeah, it's that same disc sort of play. Did you figure it out? Perfect. And
Now doing it with the thing spinning on this.
yeah, now adding a spinning part is not trivial. And this is where moving slow, having a stick that moves slow,
Right.
is
So
really
is
nice.
this feels like a fast stick. I mean, the other one felt like a really slow stick.
Give this, give this one a try. This one actually probably would play quite nice from a speed standpoint. Yeah, that one feels pretty good. You know, a lot of flower stick is going to be whichever thing you learn on will eventually become the easiest. Yeah, this one, because this one, the ones that spin up and down the stick will be more difficult because as I'm rotating it here, I have to fight its movement up and down the hand stick. So that's actually something I never thought about because
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with it.
So are those slow ones like these then?
Yeah, this is, so the brand that my glowing endorsement, Luna Sticks, Lunastix. These ones, you've got them, I've got them. I am very impressed with what they do. It's a silicone coating. It's got some really nice grip. This particular set here is designed for speed stick work, which is kind of unusual because I take it the other way. But it's shorter, and it's got a hollow aluminum core. And so it has a really different feel compared to, like, if you want to feel how light these are, I'll just let you guys grab them. This is a super, super light kit that I use.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know how that, I don't know if that's
significant.
good or bad
Better
or.
than my heavy metal guitar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
have to.
Yeah.
Are they better or
Yeah,
worse?
feel
I
like-
legitimately don't know.
Quite heavy, actually.
Oh, well, perhaps
Plus,
you don't get as much feel, I
Change the
guess.
center of gravity.
I don't know. I feel like I think I have a
Change.
lot of. I feel like I got a really good
Weight
feel.
here.
But that could also just be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're just
Especially
used
if,
yeah, comfort.
you know, as the sticks get older and one
If
side
you
gets
want to
burned
do
than the other, or
your weak hand version of the
No, I was just
blow
thinking
around the world or
the,
whatever,
the
it does
little
require you to
approaches
spin the
that,
opposite way.
some of
So
them
I tend to
burn
go
quick, but just they burn through the fuel quick.
counterclockwise.
You know, from the drops and everything. there's
But
no
getting
air
it to
that
go
goes
horizontal
into the
clockwise
brain and
is,
everything.
that's something I'm still working on. This is my newest sort of challenge, is
Um,
adding
Plus when it
adding
is-
some right-handedness to my patterns.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I want to be able to do like this into that with it looking a little clean. But yeah, this is, the right-handed stuff is fun. All right, another, we'll continue with just the hard stuff. From the horizontal spin, one of my favorite, so you can do it behind the back. And so this one, the way I do it is I get it rotating, right? Bring it out over my left-hand side. And then as it's spinning, when my hand stick reaches the outside, I pull it back towards me and pin it to my upper back, just above my belt. So I come out, pin. And then my right stick just grabs here, and it really does, it stays in contact with the body, so it's sort of, at speed.
I like my fire.
Yeah.
Definitely not wearing nylon shorts.
Slow down, I'm gonna feel like the pinning motion. So it's going.
Yeah, so
Sometimes
it's,
you're gonna want to do it with your right hand, though. He's left.
yes, so,
Okay, it doesn't-
so it's, so as it's out, the moment, so I just get it, so we get it going horizontal. When it's out, like, once the hand stick is on the outer edge of the flower stick, then I bring it, and relatively quickly pin it behind me. And then you can sit there all day until your right hand starts to just come over and sort of whip it back into. You can add a little bit of hip as sort of to get it around. Yeah, nice.
I'm still trying to just get to the horizontal.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. You could, I mean, you probably could, let's see. You probably could do it from a sort of vertical. It's a little more difficult, but you could at least get it up in that pin, sort of just pull it up behind you instead of down like that.
I'm not sure which one I want to do.
Yeah, it's sort of, up to you. You figured it out yet?
So you're starting with raising up like that, and then when you're getting down, you're just
Pinning it right to the back.
pinning it with the.
Yeah, so I'm pinning it with the, so I bring it out, pin.
So,
It goes around the world at once, and then you're in that spot, so sort of clip the other bowl and take it.
Alright, so you can, oh, yeah. I'm so used to doing this.
I mean, you can go either way, I guess. Yep.
So,
Pin, yep. Yep, so then
get around it.
Yep, so then,
So let's just, so I'm going up here.
so yeah, so you're taking this.
Yeah. Oh, you kind of go over.
Yeah.
Put the stick over it.
Yes.
One underneath it.
Yes.
Okay, so just put the stick over it.
There you go, right there. And then theoretically, it's inch over here more, and then you can just hold that forever.
Yeah.
Let's keep your left hand there for now, right?
Yeah.
And then once you're comfortable, use that right hand to just kind of clip it there.
Yeah.
And then whip it around. And then you're back in a horizontal-ish
Ish.
situation. Yeah. Yep, there goes. That's it. And that one's so much longer that you're going to end up with, like this one is nice because it's like just basically my,
Sorry.
my waist plus an inch on the other side.
Yeah.
So it fits me nicely, I suppose. If it's a longer stick, you're going to end up where it's going to be like way out here. And then, instead of pinning the ball,
You go up.
yeah, you'll just pin wherever is closest, pin close to your body. That's the key. Because you're using your body as a lever or a fulcrum in this situation. Yep. And then yeah, that one also being longer, it bounced back away. You may need to push your left arm. So your left arm like here. You may need to get your left arm further across. Yep, that's it. And then from there you sort of add so then you can, where the theatrics come in, well, like the guys that are doing, or the guys and girls that are doing body rolls, with rings and clubs and kind of doing that rotation, you can add that in. You can sort of round, you can sort of do a 360 movement as you are back and pin, back and pin, back and pin. And you can sort of show all sides of the trick once you can nail it 4 times. But
idea. I can't run myself, but it definitely showed me, so it might be a kind of
Yeah.
interesting like if you're doing it this way, so
Yeah.
you catch it here, and then you do a rotation around your body. So, I don't know.
So you catch it here.
And then you can actually sort of, it's not exactly flipping it, but like they're rotating it around.
Oh, so they basically gave, so they,
You can go a little more like a helicopter spin by doing that.
and they pull it across.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, as you're catching it here, you're pushing it forward to give it kind of like a.
I think you want to bring it closer to your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're pulling it way out there and then it can't come down. Is that what they're?
You want it like a big hula hoop.
Oh.
So you actually do want it to be a really big thing. So the idea is you can do it
Yeah.
around your
Then go around, yeah, so it's without the pin, it's behind the back without the pin. But you're coming, instead of taking you're doing left stick around the left side of your body, it's left stick around the right side.
So I guess
You're bringing your hands out that way, so you're going, it's like a reverse behind the back.
Yeah, the idea is kind of like establishing the one that you're talking to the doctor.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. And you were showing me the other trick Monday, where if you have, I guess this is more of an intermediate trick, I guess. Holding it flat, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh, did you get it?
Nice.
Not anyone's watching now.
There's a video.
Oh no!
So, if you hold the center stick kind of horizontally, you got your bottom hand just shy of center or just left of center or whatever, and the other top, you can kind of add the instruction if I say it too incorrectly, but you can shuttle it across your body and switch which hand sticks on top and bottom, and have this sort of flat, no flip version of a pattern. And then at first, it's just sort of, you can just keep it in position. You can just keep the center stick where it is, which is kind of an isolation-ish trick on its own. And you were saying that the artist that was performing was doing like really dramatic.
They were going back and forth, like, just pushing it to the left.
So that was a fun one I've been playing with so a little bit this week. I like that one. I really like the idea. I was trying to do like a kind of like Peach did last year during the shows, and just keep this thing just really. I don't know if you can ever make it say locked into one spot. That would be kind of a fun sort of isolation. So that was a cool one. I guess it's good. Check. We covered a lot of tricks in an hour.
I like that one you were just doing where you're kind of bouncing on this stick and using the one on top to keep it from turning. So.
There's a lot that can be done.
Yeah, I think this is a very much a prop that is unexplored. I think there's a lot more to this object than, the community I think is very small. I don't even know what it is, but I think there's certainly in the flow community stuff, but I imagine there's a lot more here that could be discovered. Let's see, anything else I can think of? Here's your Mills mess sort of equivalent. So from that sort of, in this sort of situation, you can just follow over. And so you just sort of rotate one extra time and just cross your hands over, and you end up with that hand over hand. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that looks really good when you sell it with the Mills mess sort of shoulder rolling kinetics to it. Theoretically, you can get your arms across an additional time and add an additional rotation. I can't, and never will.
It's the same as one.
theoretically you could go over an additional time and add a layer, and that would be awesome. I'll see you all doing that next year. That was kind of fun. You can just juggle all 3 objects. And then get into a pattern. That's a sort of standard thing. It's really awkward, especially if you're not comfortable juggling 2 different objects that spin very differently. A trick that I have seen, and I'll do it just for posterity's sake, you can kick up all 3 objects into a pattern. Well, that's not one attempt. But theoretically, you can kick both hand sticks up, grab the hand sticks. And what's nice about this is, unlike clubs, where you need to have a little bit of wind-up space, as long as you catch the sticks, yeah, I mean, if you kick it up high enough, even if you catch the sticks here, and you're in a kneeling position, like, you can't really get a club pattern started from the spot. You can save up. You have a lot more airspace. And I think that's another piece of it, is playing with horizontal movement and vertical movement you can make a TikTok have a lot more character just through movement. There's like the box tricks with balls where you're throwing your diagonal throws. You can do like an hourglass, like left, diagonal, right, diagonal, da, da, da. As sort of an hourglass movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gave some life to it. Otherwise, basic movement. What am I forgetting? Oh, this is the new trick that I've been playing with. So this is you can sort of more of a contact trick. What have I done before? So this is another Mills mess style thing. So you start crossed with the center stick on top, and then you take your their hands on top and bring it up, over, and around to be the bottom hand. You move quickly enough, you end up back in that the new version of your hand split. So uncross, cross, uncross, cross, uncross, cross. Ideally staying in contact with the center at all times. Uncross, cross, uncross, cross. And then you can sort of add some character to that, some movement. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that's it. That's kind of a fun little, yes, you're going to perfect. Yeah. There's no spinning, it's just sort of, I guess that stick does a lot of spinning. Oh, yeah. So, start uncrossed. Toss it up, cross. Now bring your right hand is going to come up. Nope, just simply up, and then quick there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no flip needed. Yep. And once you get, what I've been trying to do is lock in my hand sticks. So once my hand sticks are at a position, don't let them lose contact. Don't let them lose contact. And it's all that movement is whichever hand is on top is making a big circle into, or a big letter, crescent moon shape. So that's, yeah, that was it. A little fast. Yeah, finding that's the, finding, so when I'm doing this, I'm accelerating, decelerating. Fast, slow. Fast, slow. Bring it up fast, down slow. Up fast, down slow. It's all good. No worries. Nice. That's
That's
it does, it's playful. That's what I like most about this stuff is it's not as intense as like some sort of free ball, box trick or something. At least I can like play with this and come up with something that feels new and refreshing, and it involves the whole body. That's what I really like about it. So. Again, I incorporate lots of hand stick movements into stuff, adding it into different tricks, adding flips pretty much anywhere is fine. You can start threading all of these into sequences. Think of look at any trick other people do out in the room and say, how can I do that with flower sticks? Okay, face balance, chin balance. Drop it down into a pattern. You can flip it and catch it into a balance. You can, all sorts of one stick stuff. This is things that we didn't even get close to doing. But reverse tick-tock. So instead of going tick-tock, tick-tock, use the opposite hand. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. One-handed with flips, hand stick flips. It's, I can lather on for 2 hours on random stuff. One thing I do like about the metal, I should say, now that I'm watching something, it's not bouncy. I don't get that, like, it doesn't have that sort of springboard effect. It just hits and it's dead, which maybe, it makes my helicopter much more difficult, I guess, because I don't have that springiness to compensate. I didn't even get to under the leg stuff.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
just hinging the stick under the
That's a good one too. Yeah, under the leg is fun. I do it sort of as flat, like that. So flat, flip, flat, move in. We're gonna run out of time. I'm not sure if we're getting kicked out. We have 4 minutes, I guess, but we'll see if people wander around. I'll continue to be here the rest of the week, or weekend. I'll be over in the corner doing this.
Okay.
So feel free to come over. In terms of buying stuff, you got that one at the Flow.
Yeah, this was at Flow.
One right behind us, right?
Yeah, Flow Jungle Flow. The guy who has all the stuff that lights on fire.
Yes. Yeah, over in the kind of front corner of the gym.
Yep. Yeah, next to the Jughead stage.
Josh Horton,
Yeah.
over at his juggling warehouse booth, he has a handful, I think. I went around looking at the vendors and I didn't see.
Well, now I don't know what I want after seeing that differently.
Yeah, I mean,
Buy one of each.
yeah, I would say unless you really want to do those rolling tricks, I would probably suggest the non-rolling versions. That's just a personal preference, but I think it also, it makes stuff like this much easier when you're not also fighting against the rolling.
Well, it seemed like this one was easier to try to, I can't do that.
Yeah,
horizontal thing, but I felt like that was very difficult to do the horizontal thing for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I should probably look
So actually I'm
into.
feeling like there's some extremes, like this one's, like that one I think is really rolly.
Yes, that one's super
Not
rolling.
It's super not rolly.
Yeah, the
There's
shorter, and I think there's sort of a min-max situation where longer sticks generally, I think they move more slowly, but that requires you to be bigger in your movements. This, I can stay, super close to my body
Right.
and not have to worry too much about it. I have a personal preference towards the shorter ones. You've been working on multiple flower sticks at once, and have you put any thought, was there anything out there about what sizes are the correct sizes?
I think it's personal preference, though, and that is hard to say, depends on what tricks that you want to do. I switched to these ones recently because I wanted to actually deliberately touch on the ends and have a really good balance.
Yeah, and like that one there has the the kind of 90-degree clipping space. Mine has like a 1/4 inch of grip space on that outer side. Yeah, there are belt tricks.
What's the easiest one to learn the basic tricks on?
I would say things that don't roll and that have bigger belts. Like I would say this, I would probably consider easier than that, just because it moves more slowly. The speed at which it moves is probably the key factor. But also size. This, I believe this one is branded on, I think it's like the Luna Sticks Wizard. I believe they said this one's designed for children and or speed, like stickers, which, because it's small for the kids, and then. Yes. There's. I think there's. Yeah. There's. I don't know if there is a right answer. I would just. The easy answer is just buy a bunch. That's what the vendor told me to say probably. I should have gone over to Josh, the juggling warehouse table and said, hey, bring me your stuff. We'll do a demo. Yeah, they need to sponsor a flower stick situation. So I guess just last couple of things that we have on video. This one's kind of fun. I don't know what the name of it is. So you sort of sandwich it in between like a handlebar, and then you can sort of have it spinning in this. It's kind of a fun one, and then you have to break the sticks. Yeah, sort of. You can go, sort of in a circle. Yeah, that's the word for it. I bet you that probably is the name of this trick. Again, I'm horribly unqualified from a naming of stuff standpoint. This is my second IJA. I don't really know anybody. I don't know the heritage of the objects and that. Need to get David.
Nah, he's probably not too interested in the objects.
Yeah, probably not. I don't understand why jugglers don't like.
This is a pretty new crowd, right?
I don't know.
No?
I think it's been around for. I mean, I guess the flower stick I believe came after devil sticks. I believe devil sticks was literally just 3 sticks that somebody was clacking together and trying to keep in the air. And then someone said, "Well, let's make it, hippies." And they probably came in the 60s. That'd be my guess. This is, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I remember the commercials for the brand name Devil Sticks that would be on Nickelodeon that said, "Remember when? They're back again." So I don't know how old they were, but
Yeah.
they say remember when, so sometime before the 90s.
Tricks to make yourself frustrated more than anything. You can, if you've got sort of the more floppy tassels, you can TikTok off of tassels only. That's
Oh, that'd
I
be
mean,
fun.
really, eventually they kind of just jam on themselves. But that it requires them to flip over the top and lock, sort of grip onto the stick.
I gotta go to the.
Thank you.
Don't think I got that with the torch.
I'll bring it back.
Not quite the same, but that extra bit of stick after the flowers.
What else am I I don't actually perform all that really at all. When I did do I did talent shows and stuff, but a lot of the stuff that I would do. Again, I really like a couple of sequences I really like. I really like the around and down into the behind the back. So around, down, behind the back, around, down, behind the back, and then I really like sort of under the leg, sort of that sort of thing. You can do sort of stalls on different parts of the body. You can walk it down. Again, I really do. My current passion are these hand stick things. I'm trying to do the one-handed sequence. sort of thing. But yeah, my favorite sequence is sort of this behind the back in a circle thing that I can't do very well. My problem is I'm a juggler of all trades, a master of none, so I do somewhere in the average to above average on every object, but nowhere close to significant in any one of them. I've been thinking about, so I also have a background in basketball, and I've been thinking about some of the dribbling drills that sort of, the spider drills that the basketball is sort of the legs and stuff, and I've been toying with sort of going through the leg, doing sort of figure 8 sort of things with the legs. I haven't figured that out yet, but it's on my to-do list of tricks.
Oh, you should master it, then you can have dregs and legs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's probably considered cheating in some worlds, but there's a lot you can do if you incorporate your hand. I don't see anything wrong with that. But yeah, you can sort of bring it around, catch it, flip it. It's a good way to sort of add sudden pauses to it otherwise, so you're doing like a nice flowing helicopter, stop, flip it back. A nice smoother propeller, stop. Just adding in that, using all the other hand.
Or just do baton motions with your hand.
Yes, you can add your baton tricks into an otherwise normal routine. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I like looking at a little bit of everything, is it gives you a lot of cross-crop inspiration. Yeah.
I like the idea of doing sort of staff motions.
Yes, so yeah, I tried to learn it from, I'm sure if you remember those guys doing the staff work, they can give you the rundown of that. But yeah, you can sort of throw them up, over.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of.
But even the ones where they roll it down their arm and then they bring it back.
Yeah, you can. You could use your arm as a. You could probably. I was looking at when Zach McAllister was doing. I think he was in the. I think it might have been X juggling. He took 3 rings and was sort of doing a little. Flipping it back and forth, right? Like a double stick. Yeah, this is. You can do. You can do this with just hand. You can do 1 finger actually. So that's sort of a fun added layer. You can do the. I guess that's not a bad way to learn the movement. Now that I think about it, right? Do this with just your finger, and then you can do it with that and basketball.
Now, when you turn it, how straight up do you have? Do you have completely straight up, turn it in a little bit, turn it out a little
So,
bit? Because I'm noticing,
generally speaking,
if I turn it in a tiny bit, I'm not rubbing things as much, but I don't know if learning that is going to give me
I mean, if you don't want them to go away from you, definitely somewhere between parallel and tapered in would be I'd recommend. If you taper out, then yeah, they're going to go away from you, and that's I think harder to control. Yeah, there is a little bit of correction at all times. I think every single throw should be sort of correcting the vertical or speed or horizontal movement.
Yeah, I was just noticing if I turn my hand, the stick's in a little bit. It was a little bit easier, but I didn't know if that would be something that is just bad form to learn and gonna hurt me later on.
Yeah. I don't think that none of the tricks I taught really matter. The form there is not so critical once you move to like multiple.
So another thought that just came to mind is if you have 3 flower sticks and instead of using these, you're using flower sticks in these hands, then you can actually switch them and start doing sort of juggling.
And you can do like hand sticks up again. It gets really fast and
yeah. But I'm saying if you have 3.
If you have 3 flowers, yes, absolutely. You could do.
Probably, let's see. I mean, just think about your basketball analogy.
Right.
Why do you use this one?
I don't think any of this will be. It's sort of.
It's just an idea.
Yeah, there's definitely, and there's totally the different stalls and crafts you do with clubs and rings. There's some traps. All those are.
But I'll let you also switch the one that's actually the flower stick to the one that was in your hand.
Right. Yeah, you could. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely, this is much easier to juggle than the previous sort of thing. Yeah, you could, like, throw, switch. Yeah, that's. I guess
Just
all
make it
the more
hard.
reason for you to buy more,
Yeah, I
right?
know, I was just-
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there's something to buying. The sticks roll back here.
Yeah, they're making a nice chair, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
flag on. I saw them. No, they were soft. Yeah, I was like, I knew they were there. There you go. And then here, last one. This is my other sort of, if I have to win a game of juggling horse, what trick should I try? And still, a game winner is so I was showing you the hand stick, the double flip, and the switch. You can do the flip and the switch together. So something like that. So that was both of them did a half flip and they changed hands. That one's stupid. But that's a fun one. I just planned to do that. I don't need that.
I don't need that.
You can, yeah, you can do. What's nice is you can do pickups and stuff.
Right.
Anyways,
All right, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
you're very welcome. Greg,
Yeah, Greg.
you're Greg as well?
Yeah.
Perfect. I know Lally. And you're Dave. Yeah, Greg, Dave, Lally, Emily. Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you for coming. That was fun. Thank you for sort of kicking my butt telling me to do it. Or inspiring me to do it at least. That was I was sitting down yesterday before the show, before ending it, I can't remember. But there was a couple of us that were doing card tricks and card manipulation and stuff, which is another. I'm not good at it anymore, but I came to this whole world through sleight of hand magic. It was fun to sit down with some magicians and not just having them make fun of it. That's
Yeah, I ended up finding the whippets.
Yeah.
So that's another really interesting problem. But I've never
that was
thought
fun.
about. I'm a little afraid of like making noise with it. Bothering people. You
Yeah.
can put a topper on there that doesn't make so much noise. So that's a pretty cool top as well.
Yeah, I've played with a monkey card before, and it's fun. So, yeah, if you, I would suggest.
I'm gonna buy them. I like these. That's sort of,
This style? Yeah, so the ones I saw over at the Juggling Warehouse table, I think were more in this style.
I didn't see any of those I was looking for earlier.
So the Juggling Warehouse, that's the one over, you know, that in the corner where all the super sharp on, like the sharp stuff is?
Yeah, I'll find it.
It's on the back. It's on my back wall, I guess. Oh,